Well, hello all.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. It's been 20 years of marital bliss. Marital bliss? Marital bliss.
Bliss. Every last second, huh?
Yeah. So we wanted to take this time to put together a video about our marriage as kind of
Unsolicited advice.
that you may or may not need to use.
And if you don't want unsolicited advice, you can just close out. It's all good. The most important people that need to watch it are the following, because we made this video for them, mostly with them in mind.
So Nick and Malik, our boys, we want you to have this video for like reference material, I
For a
guess.
bad day.
for when you have a bad day. But also our nephews.
Lorenzo, Sam, Andrew, Chris, Aiden, and Rudy.
And then our nieces, because we have those too.
We have some princesses.
We do.
Nikki and Casey.
Well, and we almost forgot our great niece, Olivia, and our great nephew, Oliver.
Ay, ay, ay.
Well, 20 years, people.
And then all of our other
Yeah.
kids, all of our other young adults out there of our youth group, our former youth group kids, you know who you are if you're seeing this. Davis children. And others.
So why us? All right. We'll try and keep it short, but we have 7, count them, 7 things we'd like to share about our marriage that...
Well, like, the reason I thought about this,
Okay.
so hold on, is a couple months ago, we had a couple here that was visiting, new friends of ours, and the wife pulled me aside and said, how do you and Nathan stay so in love? And it totally caught me off guard. And you had no idea that this conversation was going on in the kitchen. And
Because I would have pulled a total goofy on and went, oh, I don't know. I don't know.
And I had nothing profound to say in that moment.
Oh, I don't know if we still have something profound to say.
No, but I just was like, that's nice you think that.
So Angela, in her organization glory and getting all of us, she has a whole bunch of pink sticky notes here. See?
So you make it all sound like it's my ideas, though.
Well, no. I mean, we did this together, but you're the one that puts it all. I mean, it goes on paper, and when it gets to a Post-it note,
it's gonna happen.
it's official. So let's start with. We'll start with number 1.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes the meal really just sucks, and you don't ever want to eat it again. So you need to be brave and tell the other person.
So this comes.
Because this goes both ways.
Yeah,
we
that's
both
true.
cook.
Well, we both cook, and I've made some things that you're like, no, I mean, like if I make something too spicy, you let me know,
right.
or and we're very like, especially now we've gotten into the point where we're trying to eat healthier. Like, you know what, I like that, but it's too greasy or something like that.
Right.
But this stems from one time and I had to try and have him remind me. It was like some kind of potato and sausage.
Because it was quick and easy.
Right, and it was always good, but we got to the point where I think we ate it like every week,
Probably.
because it was so easy. And I'm like, I finally got honey, I love you, but we can't have this anymore.
Well, and the other thing is sometimes the shirt is too tight
Yeah,
and should not be worn.
that's me. You're not talking about yourself. You're talking about me, right?
Or the pants make the butt look big. Just be honest, because really, I mean, I don't think.
I don't know that I've ever had to. Have I ever had to tell you something about your wardrobe to say you shouldn't be wearing that?
Typically in this scenario,
It's me.
It's you. But anyways, moving on.
Well, this is funny. So the next one is laugh together. And laugh together at each other, laugh at life, laugh at other people's expenses. No.
Laugh, because sometimes it's all you've got.
Yeah.
And otherwise you would cry.
And you and I we've been placed in multiple awkward situations, both in ministry and in marriage and raising boys and working with teenagers. We've always,
with our families.
And with our families,
Yep.
especially. And we've always, I have a tendency to stick my foot in my mouth. I know you do. Wait a minute. I said that the wrong way. I know you think I do, and I know that that's true, but
I don't ever mess up with what I'm about to say.
I'm going to have to put a little banner right now. Marriage fail. I messed that up. But anyway.
Laugh, because life is funny. Don't take things too seriously. Life is funny. It's funny.
Right. And we've been blessed with family that's very humorous. Like your dad's funny and your mom's funny and your brother's funny.
Like
and,
when
you know.
someone's sleeve catches on fire accidentally at the dinner table, that's hysterical. You have to laugh at that.
Was that me?
No, it was my mom.
That was your.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
But you see,
We weren't even married then.
Right, but it set the foundation. You have to laugh. Like everybody was safe. You laugh. It
Yeah.
just happens.
I forgot about that one completely. No, I can't think about that one while we're doing the whole thing. All right. Oh yeah, I love this one. And this is something I've told. I mean, I do some premarital counseling,
Can you
right?
hand me my water?
Oh, your water here.
Sorry. Being honest, I need water.
Oh, hashtag bonus.
Like a boss.
Always provide liquid refreshment. Water or soda, juice.
Continue.
Yeah. So I do a lot of premarital counseling and because I do weddings and stuff like that in ministry and so I have run across this many times in talking to people. Say dream big with each other and not just you dream to have like goal setting and you dream to have, it's another level of excitement to add to your marriage other than just, I'm excited about going on a date. I'm excited about spending time with you. I'm excited about watching an entire season of The Amazing Race in one night. I don't think we've ever done that. But you have those kind of dreams and goals. But when you start to dream together, when you start to, I'm going to use this word too, fantasize a little bit about what something could be together, but you do it together, you start to have this like common
Like a goal almost that you're
and common
working
drive.
towards.
So
Well, and the other thing is that for us, the dreaming of moving, of selling our house, we talked about that and dreamt about that and prayed about that for 3 years easily. And they were 3 of our hardest years of our life. And it kept us going.
Yeah.
At the end of those bad days, we could sit and talk about not just the bad day, but like, hey, this someday is going to be behind us.
Right.
We're going to, what do we want to do with our lives? What are we going to do?
and then when we got to the flip side of that, after all that dreaming and all that planning and goal setting together, we were like, it was one of the best experience we had. I mean, there was definitely wasn't perfect our move, but
No.
But I even look at some of the small things. Like you and I dream about going to Papoose every summer, and at the end of every summer, we go with your family, and we start to get we start to get about June-ish, July-ish, and we start to think about it. And we're like, oh, it's going to be so much fun. And so planning in those big things like a house move, planning in the small things like a little family getaway.
In retirement, but not, but not
retirement.
everything, has to be that big.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, so this one's mine.
yeah,
It's okay and healthy to have interests outside of each other as long as the other person doesn't feel neglected. Because I think that, especially like when we were first married, we were like very isolated and only did anything together. Like, I don't even think we had many friendships outside of one another for a big chunk of time. And a lot of it was where we were living, and just that most of our peers were in college at the time. But it was almost stifling to not have anything outside of one another to get gratification, to get identity, to get, I don't know.
Well, I remember for a long time, like our email address and all of our sign-in login pieces were all Nate Ange.
Right.
It was always Nate Ange, and there was never any identity separate from that.
People can get lost in that, and God created you to be a couple, but He also created you as people before you were a couple.
So I have very nerdy interests outside of you.
Shocking.
And I have to be careful. I mean, you have to measure it out. You can't have an interest that completely occupies all your time. As a nerd, it could. I could go to nerd conventions. I guess I don't do that, but but I go to nerdy.
Not my jam.
Like
at all.
but there's nothing wrong with me. Sometimes I go to see Star Wars or some sci-fi flick by myself, or I watch Doctor Who, and I don't expect you to watch it with me. And
Thank you.
And then you have things that you watch or do that I don't participate in.
I know, I can't think of any.
I know. I'm like, you do have them.
Like, our jobs are even very diverse, and to let each person be who they are in their careers, even, and to support them and cheer them on from that, And who Nathan is in his job is really different from who I am in my job, because our careers are so different, and that's okay. It's okay for us to each take center stage at different times with the other person applauding from the wings and vice versa.
Hashtag bonus feature. Let your spouse shine at some point on their own without you having to do it for them. And you've had multiple times to do that. And I've had times to do that. And I think that's good. And no matter how much I kid about wanting to work at the hospital, it's mostly because I secretly
jealous
desire.
of the cafeteria?
Yeah, it's a cafeteria food. I love cafeteria food. I'm not gonna lie. That makes me a
You're
little bit
jealous
weird.
of mine and my brother's lunches. Okay, we need to move along. This
All
is
right.
getting long.
It's all right.
Be prepared for disappointments and unexpected blessings.
So it goes both ways.
It does. But really, you need to know that not all anniversaries or holidays or birthdays or Groundhog Days or anything special, not all of them are going to be wine and roses. Sometimes, and many times in our case, it involves
An emergency room visit.
Yeah. Antibiotics.
Yeah.
Somebody
Breathing
holding
treatments. Yeah.
somebody's head over the toilet.
Yes.
Disinfectant.
Yes.
Pajamas.
Yes. When was it? Was it our anniversary when we were coming back from New York and you and I both had the flu?
It was just after our anniversary, and we had the flu that almost killed it. Like, I literally saw the face of Jesus, and I wanted him to come and help me because it was bad. It was so bad. We don't even remember how we got home because we were both so sick.
So I got like an hour and a half into driving, and I said, I can't drive anymore because I was like, and
you know the song "Jesus Take the Wheel"?
It was written.
It started with us. Jesus took the wheel. That's how we got home. Okay,
but we've had. I wanted to hit on the blessings. I mean, sometimes we've had unexpected blessings. Like, I mean, I would say Nick, our son Nick, is an unexpected blessing, and then
Absolutely.
we've had, and so those all go, kind of hand in hand. But anyway, last two.
Oh yeah.
This one: choose each other first over children, over career, over
Sorry, boys.
responsibilities, over ministry. You think, I mean, early on in our marriage, one of the big mistakes I made was, hey, I had gone to school for ministry. I should be doing ministry. And I spent so much time and so much effort and so much energy in that I missed the point that Angela was more important than ministry, even ministry, because God did call me to be to her like
Christ is
to the church, and that's a hard thing to do, but that goes out from there. I mean, it goes into everything because
this is the deal. You can center your life around your kids, and granted, you all can judge because we didn't have kids in our house as many years as some of you, but we did have children that we were responsible for, and it could have been very easy to make them and everything that they were about our life. And there were times when we had to say no to doing something for our kids because it was not for the betterment of our family or our marriage. Mm-hmm. Kids grow up, they go, and if you build your marriage around the babies, you will be very lonely when they are gone. Mm-hmm. Both of our boys are out of the house, and it's okay.
It's okay.
It is. It's okay. They have their own thing going on, and that's what God's purpose is for raising children. So your children go. Your careers can change. A drop of a hat. Mm-hmm. And your responsibilities can change. A parent can get sick. Somebody could pass away. Mm-hmm. There could be an illness. And those things change. And it changes your time availability. But if you don't make one another a priority, those things can consume. And then there's nothing left when the babies are gone and everybody's healthy and people are on the straight and narrow if you've spent all your time pouring into everything else.
And I always like to point out, like in the traditional vows that couples take, it's in the do you take each other in the good and the bad, in sickness and in health, till death do you part. I mean, that's the ultimate end of your marriage. That's the ultimate time where you can that responsibility doesn't exist anymore. And I think that we kind of lose that in our culture. We don't often, I've done enough weddings to know that you don't do traditional vows all the time, but that was rooted in something for a long, long time in our culture. And I think it's not necessarily there as much as it should be, but it's definitely very important. So is this last one. This is probably the most important one, I feel. Pray together. And we probably have learned this one the hardest way. for many reasons. But pray together. Do it spontaneously. You know, we oftentimes we are either sitting around, or we get a phone call, or we get an email, or we see something on the news, or something that we really feel like what we need to pray, and we do. We stop, we pray, and we also schedule a time to pray. We pray, and now that's something that we try and pray. You know, we set aside a time once a week to put things that we know down and as prayer requests, and
not just for stuff between us, but people around us, our church, our community, our government, our country, our military, and we keep a journal. And sometimes we'll just say, hey, we're not going to pray for anything new today. We're going to go back and reflect on the needs that God has met, and we just have a period of Thanksgiving. And, you know, it's just a good time, too, just to sit down and take a breath. You shut the TV off. You put the cell phones aside. You kick the cat off the couch. And you it doesn't have to be long. You don't have to get on your knees and be dramatic. And, I mean, sometimes you need to. Mm-hmm. And we've been there. But there's also been times when, like, Nathan's dad was staying with us and he joined us. And it became a family prayer time. And there was times when we would Skype in with his parents because they were going through a particularly challenging time. And the four of us would pray together, and it's just been really beneficial. You have to be bold, though. You can't be shy. Like, you're married, for crying out loud. You can't be shy about this.
Yeah, but if you look at all the things that we talked about, all the things that were listed, we actually, those over time are surrounded by prayer one way or the other, you know, and I think that's the glue.
Yeah. So if you've hung in for this very long video, we appreciate it. And to those that we listed at the beginning, you are very special to us. We love you. We want you to have good things in your life. Learn from our mistakes. Ask us lots of questions. We will tell you. We will be honest, because we want you to have good, solid marriages and love Jesus.
And we'll be honest, it's not always, for us, it has not always been perfect, and the end result looks sometimes perfect, but that's because God was glorified and God made that happen. It really didn't really have much to do with it in the end.
Let's let these people go.
All right, we love you all.
Bye.
Bye.